Hey, what's up, Mortgage Coach community? Dave Savage here, and today I'm interviewing Keith Kemp. What's up, Keith?
Hey, Dave. Not much. How are you today?
I'm good. I'm really looking forward to learning from you and having this conversation. Mortgage Coach community, this relationship started at a Total Expert event. What was it, about a month ago? We were in
Yeah,
San
that's
Diego
right.
together.
In San Diego,
Uh,
yeah.
yeah, and they put together this symposium of C-suite marketing and sales executives, and Keith and I ran into each other. And the way I remember the story is everybody there was super interesting to talk to, a very elite crowd of progressive mortgage executives, looking to, do a better job of marketing, of personalizing. And Keith approached me, he knew about Mortgage Coach, and you were very passionate about the fact that you had some new ideas that could improve the adoption of technology in the mortgage
Yep.
industry. And
Yeah.
I'm like, and what do you call it? Program management versus
Program
project
management.
management?
That's right. Yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, he was just like, program management. I'm like, okay, anything that's going to improve adoption of technology, I'm listening. Because let's face it, we live in a world where the consumer experience needs to be more technology centric, but we need to get human beings to drive it. So adoption of technology is important. So Keith, why don't you give everybody a little bit of a backstory on who you are, and then we'll get into program management and what that is and what it means.
Yeah, sure thing. So thanks, Dave. Again, honored to be your guest. So I appreciate the opportunity to be here, chat a little bit about program management. And back to your point about humanization, that was something that Total Expert did a great job really focusing on. How, in today's environment, everybody talks about digital age, but at the end of the day, 85% of consumers are really looking for that humanization of technology. So there's quite a gap there that needs to be closed. And there's different strategies and techniques that have actually been in practice for quite some time to help close that gap. So that's the impetus of the discussion around program management. My background, I've been in the mortgage banking business for well over 25 years, between being a loan officer, regional manager, sales manager, and then really running all the strategic initiatives at a large national lender for a good 8 to 10 years, implementing LOSs, POSs, CRMs, all the different technology platforms that were needed to help grow our sales. And it was from that I really started to recognize there isn't just this project management component, but there's this program management component that needs to be recognized. And so I've crafted that over the last 10 years as part of my consulting practice. But at this point, I basically run a firm called Blackfin Group, where we really specialize in helping organizations improve overall utilization and adoption of technology and strategic initiatives. So it's a lot of fun. It's the human side of projects, if you will, and we can peel that back as we go.
Good. Well, I love that. I'm looking forward to learning more about this. So why don't you walk us through what does that mean, program management, and how is that different than project management?
Sure thing. So I'll give you the quick high level, and then we'll slowly start to peel that back. So project management, at the core of it, is really a defined deliverable. It's a defined strategy. It's a defined set of skills, roles, responsibilities, tasks that are required in order to deliver a strategic initiative or technology initiative. Program management, so it's really focused on the output, the delivery output. Program management is all around the disciplines required in order to ensure successful outcome is achieved, that the ROI of that particular initiative is actually achieved through that project. So that's just at the high level of what those what the differences between project and program management is. But as you peel back the onion a little bit further, everybody, and let's focus on project management just for a quick second. Everybody in the world really knows what project management is. It's been around since the Great Pyramids. Project management was used to build the Great Wall of China. Project management, fast forward to today, everybody understands and accepts what project management is. It's the holy grail of project management is the Project Management Institute, who certifies individuals in their project management credentials. It's a very defined framework for delivering projects and getting to that output. However, when you start to peel back the onions, I did probably about 10, 12 years ago in my consulting practice, I started to recognize that there was this big gap, and I dug a little bit deeper trying to understand, why is it projects are failing? Why do I continuously hear about this LOS failure, this POS, or this third-party technology solution? Why isn't it achieving the results that were really targeted? And even the Project Management Institute, this is a staggering fact, quite frankly. Even the Project Management Institute, who champions the structure and frameworks for certified project management, they report annually that over 65% of all projects worldwide fail. Staggering. How can that be, that over 65% of projects worldwide fail, particularly when we have this project management structure and strategy and certification process in place? Here's what it boils down to ultimately, as I peeled back the onion further and got dug deeper on this. It's not about the technology. It's about the people associated with these projects, the people planning, the people side of these projects. And it's the lack of collaboration, the lack of communication, the lack of strategic planning from a global mindset standpoint. And Project Management Institute even themselves highlights the fact that where there's program management disciplines and principles in place, project failure rates drop by anywhere from 35 to 50%. So program management is still relatively new in society, quite frankly. It's still more of a concept, and I'll take you back one more minute, if you will, in the past. But yeah.
So something I want to do, because we have an audience here where some people that are listening to this, you're in management, you're an executive, and I'm going to make this relevant to you. And some of you are watching this because it's the Mortgage Coach channel, and you're a loan officer. And here's the deal, guys. If you're a loan officer, your hat switches from, I'm a salesperson, I'm a marketer, I'm a problem solver. And I've never met a successful mortgage professional that doesn't do some project management. You know, like if you're rolling out a new CRM for yourself, that's project management. If you're, doing any type of initiative, and to me, the one thing I want to really make sure comes out here, and there's a lot of nuances, and we're going to get into other tactics that make program management different. But project management is when you like say, oh, I'm going to roll out a new CRM, and I'm going to do it by this date. Check, project done. Yep. Program management is, I'm going to roll out a CRM, but I'm going to do it to achieve results, ROI. That could be improved conversion. That could be reduced price exceptions. That could be more referrals, repeat business from past clients. And so you're rolling it out like CRM, Mortgage Coach, to achieve these results. And it's outcomes, it's result based. So I'm going to push everybody in the Mortgage Coach community, whether you're a loan officer, whether you're an executive, in 2020, we're doing this interview in December of 2019. We're not ending a year, we're ending a decade. We're not starting a new year with 2020 or 2020. We're starting a new decade, and I do think that if we want to kill it as referral-based local mortgage professionals and organizations, like we need to go beyond project management. And I would push everybody in the mortgage industry. First of all, we need to get better at project management, but let's do all these projects. Let's roll out Mortgage Coach. Let's roll out CRMs, but let's do it with the outcomes in mind. What are the results? And let's manage that. So Ken, I have a question, but before I do that, I want you to make sure you've kind of completed your thought on that.
Yep.
And then I've got a few more questions. So go ahead and complete your thought, and then I've got a few questions.
No, that was perfect, because quite frankly, that's helped. That dialogue helps cross the chasm from conceptually to reality. And I actually have an example for you here. I'll share in a few minutes. Even using Mortgage Coach is the perfect example of how your viewers can apply that to real world day-to-day practice. But from a program management practice standpoint, back in the 1920s, just a quick hit of past in history and where this all came from. Just recently in the 1920s, when Europe was trying to rebuild the war-torn towns, the US and European military, they got in a room together and they basically said, hey, we need to figure out how to rebuild these towns. And so all the people from the project management side really understood what that meant. But there were a couple of people in the room that basically asked the question, well, how are we going to integrate people back into these war-torn towns? And that was the beginning of the concept of program management. And in today's vernacular, that would break it down to how do we get user adoption of our new strategies, of the strategy of this project. So fast forward that to modern day, where we find ourselves is organizations continue to fail with project management, but they really are looking for these program management techniques, methodologies, frameworks, strategies to successfully achieve that ROI and outcome that we just touched on, Dave. So what are some of those strategies and methodologies? Well, it can be, today as it stands, when we get done with a project launch, we basically throw it over the fence and we define program management as, well, we trained and we updated some of our policies and procedures. Whereas tomorrow, when it comes to program management, what we should be focused on is the universal, the global impact of it to the organization. What are some of the techniques and strategies that you can implement from a KPI standpoint, resetting your KPIs, either as an individual contributor or as an organization? What are the impacts on the compensation planning and program from a program management standpoint so that we can increase user adoption and utilization? These are all the things that have to go into the consideration of a program management strategy so that you can ensure that you're getting that user adoption at a faster rate.
So you had mentioned that you had a great, example from a mortgage coach perspective, and why don't you kind of cast that vision of, rolling out mortgage coach from a project management standpoint, rolling out mortgage coach from a program management standpoint. Yep. How would that be different, and how would you articulate that?
Sure thing. So today, as it stands, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, Dave, but typically when an organization starts to understand what the mortgage coach solution can do, the value proposition that it can bring to the loan officers, what do they do? Or a couple loan officers come to the organization, the lender corporate office, say, hey, we'd love to get this mortgage coach tool. We used it where we were at before. We'd love to get this implemented. So what the management team does, they venture out and they do an RFP, they review, they go through the demos, they select the solution that they're going to use, the mortgage coach solution, and then they put it on a project plan. They assign a project manager who's going to define the requirements, who's going to define the strategy, who's going to define the process flow, how it's going to be used. They test, and then they launch. And they launch with the training, and they basically say, loan officers, you asked for it, here it is. And the loan officers say, hey, great. And about 6 months, 9 months later, inevitably, the lenders typically find, why isn't our utilization rate better? Why aren't people using it? Why aren't they adopting it? And I mean, there's all these features and benefits that come from it. It's going to help better align ourselves with consumers and help us close more deals and increase our pull-through. So that's typical project management implementation of a solution like Mortgage Coach. From a program management standpoint, the approach is actually going to be, okay, you asked for this, we're going to design it, we're going to build it, we're going to pull you loan officers in, and we're going to help us define what that process is. You'll be a part of the solutioning here. Then we're going to meet with marketing, and we're going to communicate to marketing that this is our new customer experience expectation. This is the promise that we're going to deliver to consumers within our marketing. And taking that to the next step, then the management team needs to define what are the new KPIs as a result of this new tool that we're going to implement, that we're going to get behind, that we're going to make sure is a value add to not only our loan officers, but also the consumer in their education. from the total cost analysis tool that Mortgage Coach offers. So then you take that another step further and you say, culturally, you need to understand, loan officers, as we launch this and we train you on this, that we've reset expectations with the consumers through our marketing. And honestly, if you're not going to hit the messaging, you're not going to deliver the tool, you're not going to speak to it, you're not going to show utilization, you're not going to hit your KPIs, and so you're failing the customer, not us as an organization. And so as a organization, you now have adoption of the Mortgage Coach tool, and you have subsequently more successful loan officers because they have increased pull-through, because it's now more of a mandated approach and universally accepted approach to the adoption of the Mortgage Coach tool. It's not an opt-in or opt-out. If you opt out, that doesn't fit. You probably as an individual don't fit within our culture. So that's where you're going to start that program management approach is where you're really going to see the dramatic impact of utilization and efficiencies and effectiveness and increased pull-through. So that's the nutshell of what program management can do for an organization. And then as a consumer, as a loan officer, taking that one step further, as you alluded to, as a loan officer, if you're capable of making that total cost analysis real in that customer experience, and you start setting benchmarks and expectations of that customer experience, you'll have a more effective customer engagement.
Love this. So let me review a couple of these concepts. Keith was kind enough to share some slides beforehand, and him and I are, building a relationship to help deliver better adoption, but more importantly, more ROI for our clients. So whether you're an individual loan officer who signed up for Mortgage Coach individually, whether you're a company that has bought Mortgage Coach for all your loan officers, or whether you're a partner of ours that, has added it to your platform, but it's opt-in, to me, the big takeaways are, let's not focus on usage, let's focus on results. And the three results are improved conversion. And again, that could be measured by how many credit reports did you run, how many loans did you close, and how is Mortgage Coach impacting that. It could be price exceptions. Loan officers that deliver Mortgage Coach reports get less price exceptions and have fewer. It's about 9 basis points in savings per loan officer that uses Mortgage Coach. And loan officers that do annual reviews, and one of the things I love about our Total Expert integration is that it automates that annual review so that loan officer doesn't have to do it. You just turn it on and automatically that happens. So get clear on your results. Now, if you're an individual loan officer, you have a team. You have real estate agents. You have people on your team. Now, you may not be a team loan officer where you have junior loan officers and you have production assistants, but make sure that when you roll this out, you're involving your team, you're educating your realtors that, hey, we're upgrading our consumer experience. This is why, this is what you can expect. If you're in management on this, I loved the push. And when I look at the clients that have the most success rolling out Mortgage Coach, it's where we have, executive leadership, we have marketing in the loop, we have compliance in the loop. It's not a 3-month, let's roll it out and see how many people log in. It's, a 2-year initiative where we're sharing success stories. I mean, that's one of the reasons why I do so many Mortgage Coach interviews, is I want to celebrate success stories. 34% of loan officers that do over 100 loans a year use Mortgage Coach. I want to find them. I want to document that, through video, and then I want to promote that. So I just love this. It's in my mind, it's the two biggest changes that are two biggest differences, and I get this right. And I think you show it really well on this slide right here. It's the focus on delivery versus outcomes. That's key. And then I think with project management, it has less organizational buy-in, and it's more like a project for a group, and program management involves a broader part of the organization and the culture. Would that be fair to say?
That's spot on, Dave. You're right on.
Okay. Well, let's do this. I mean, part of my goal was to do an interview with you and just introduce this concept of program management. Get mortgage coach loan officers thinking about it so they can be more effective in adopting technology as individuals. And then executives and leaderships, I wanted to get them more effective at rolling out Mortgage Coach and other technologies like Mortgage Coach. Total Expert's a great example. Any last words before we wrap up on this first interview? And we'll do more interviews, guys. Like if you watch this and you have questions for Keith, put them down below. He'll give you his contact information in a minute so you can reach out to him. But any kind of closing thoughts that you want to make sure get out to the Mortgage Coach community as we wrap this up?
Yeah, at the end of the day, I've been doing strategic initiative launches for well over 20 years in this industry. And at the end of the day, what I always come back to, it's all about execution. And I want to, and the other key component is the numbers don't lie. So to ensure that you have successful execution, you've got to be analyzing the right numbers. And you've got to start thinking about the people. The people side of project management is the most critical component to success for any strategic initiative that you're looking to launch. And it's a mouthful to think about program management and what does that mean to your organization. But any kind of small steps you can take beyond just training and updating policies and procedures, you're moving in the right direction. And happy to help any way we can. And thanks again, Dave. I really appreciate the opportunity.
Yeah, no, well, I'm not done with you, but I loved what you said, because that's the other thing. When I look at the most successful or companies that have adopted Mortgage Coach, we've got C-suite buy-in, we've got marketing, creating content that promotes loan officers that use Mortgage Coach. We have loan officers that are having success, and we have both branch managers and regional leaders sharing those success stories. And then the CEO sees it and he shares it to a broader audience. We call that ambassadors. And again, we have it over years. It's not a quarterly initiative. We roll out new technology and then we hope that we have success. And then it's the end of the year and we're doing a relaunch. It's this cycle, and it's driven around results. So, I would just push you, like, what are the results of Mortgage Coach? The loan officers that use it, do they have less price exceptions? Let's measure that. And then let's drive it. That's the other thing. Technology doesn't fail, people do. And leadership does, because they either, one, didn't have the right plan, they didn't implement the plan, and then they didn't review the plan and reiterate it, quarter after quarter, year after year. Because Mortgage Coach, CRMs, they work, they add ROI if there's leadership, if there's documentation, and if you're driving results, you're going after the outcomes. So Keith, anybody that wants to contact you, learn more about your consultancy, how can folks reach out to you?
Oh, sure thing. Pretty simple. Just go to www.blackfin, one word, -group.com. And if you go to the training tab, you'll see a program management workshop option there, a day-long workshop that we have available to help organizations get their arms around all the moving parts related to program management. But they're also welcome to give me a call, 949-205-5043. Cell phone's always on. What we do in this business is a lifestyle. It's not a job.
Yeah, well, and I know I'm going to get people asking me for copies of those slides because we didn't go through all of them. Keith gave me the PDF. I'm going to put a link down below. So you're watching this on YouTube, there'll be a link down below to this PDF. If you're active in the Mortgage Coach Facebook Productivity Mastermind, I'll also put a link to this with Keith's name in it as a document in our Facebook Mastermind group. So check it out there. Keith, I am looking forward to keeping this conversation going. As we work with common customers together, what I would love to do is let's find, someone that is a leader that's driving Mortgage Coach as a successful program management, and maybe do an interview with you and some, head of marketing, head of sales, head of program management at a mutual client of ours. So let's
wonderful.
Let's look out for that, and let's do another interview like this, my friend.
That's great. Yeah, it'd be a pleasure. There's nothing like real world applications, so I think that's a great approach. Look forward to it.
And if you do get value from this interview and you got a takeaway that drives better results, better adoption, let us know down below. Take care, everybody.